Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the KellyCast, your home for the latest information on the NFL, on the Buffalo Bills, and if you stick around, I'm sure you'll learn something.
Oh, is this where I come in? Yes, learn something.
If you stick till the end, you might lose a couple brain cells just like the both of us do when we're recording, but we'd appreciate if you stayed to the end. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Find us on all social medias at the KellyCast. Let's get right into this week's video. Week 11 in the NFL, Mike, and it feels like it just started yesterday. Like the fact that these games just go so fast. It blows my mind.
It's absolutely insane, and I feel like it's going by even faster since I don't have my buddy here watching every Sunday with me.
Yeah, like I got you back into football, and the second that I got a job that I can't watch as much, you are falling out of it again. But we're trying.
I'm getting there. Like I said last week, the roles have been reversed a little bit. The wife's up there hooting and hollering. She lets me know every once in a while.
Yeah, she's a blast. Week 11, obviously. Buffalo comes in 7-2. We'll get to them in just a little bit. I want to discuss the jersey choice today. Looks like you got a Washington Redskin, not a Commander. Tell me how you feel on the jersey you're wearing today. What led to that choice?
What led to this choice was the game tonight, and I picked them because I decided I wanted to pick the underdog. I mean,
are they the underdog tonight?
I'm pretty sure they're the underdog. Okay. Yeah.
Both teams have about the same
Washington
record.
At Philly, though, I mean, you got to give it to Philly, even if it's a slight edge.
I think Philly has one less loss than the Commanders do because they had their bye week. But I believe they're coming into this matchup with the same record. I like it, man. We've talked a little bit about the Commanders here and there, you and me, in passing about Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin. Really, what it seems like, right? They were missing that quarterback for so long. And now that they got the quarterback, remember what they did last year at the trade deadline? They got rid of both of their defensive ends. And what's been the struggle this year? Their defense. So if their defense just tightens up and plays a little bit better, I'm sure the Commanders would be in a better spot. I think we're going to see them in the playoffs for sure.
I think so. And, I briefly mentioned, Daniel's season is somewhat reminiscent of CJ's, maybe not as glorious, but he's doing pretty well.
I tell you, man, his completion percentage completely out of this world. I think it's still number one. Just like his ability to find these windows to complete some passes is crazy. And that's the NFC East. Your second division, because we know you're a Cowboys fan. If you didn't know, Mike's a Cowboys fan. Yes, he's wearing Washington gear. Yes, flame him in the comments below. But tell me how you're feeling about the NFC East this year.
See, the NFC East is, garbage. Absolute garbage.
It's funny because I remember a couple years ago, right? A couple years ago, that division was the laughing stock of the league. And I called it the NFC least. And then last year, the division was pretty close in the Giants, the Eagles, not the Commanders. And I called it the NFC beast. And this year, it's just
this year
mixture.
It's I was gonna say it's 50-50. You got the Cowboys who are just complete garbage this year. I don't know what happened. Why is it there's such a big drop off? I don't feel like the team changed that much to have that big of a drop off. The Giants are doing giant things. We were hoping, as DeBall being a hometown boy, you kind of want to cheer him and the team on a tiny bit, see him succeed. But, sophomore slump's not looking like a sophomore slump. It's looking like he was better off as an OC.
Yeah, I mean, it does not look pretty in Dallas. It does not look pretty for the New York Giants. They keep saying they're not going to fire him, but honestly, as each week passes, I think his job just gets hotter.
As Jerry, whatever Jerry says, he tends to stick by. So I wouldn't count.
I was more talking Giants there.
Oh, okay.
I was more talking
McCarthy
Dable.
too. Yeah, he's probably not going to get fired, but he's definitely got to be on the hot seat sooner or later. Daniel Jones flourished under him the first year, and the first year only. and they were all praising him as the quarterback guru. Look what he did with Josh Allen. Now he took this turd and he polished it. Well, it looks like he polished it just enough to get a paycheck. So
You're spitting some facts, man. And I said it the other day. You don't have TikTok, so you wouldn't know. If you don't have TikTok, I'm leaving that in there. I don't care. If you don't have TikTok, excuse me, download it. Find the KellyCast. Maybe that's what you were smelling earlier. But you know how much I love English and words and all this. And I spelled it out for the people. Trash, Daniel Jones. That's how you spell it. He's just not the answer, man. It's been enough. Enough is enough. Carolina Panthers gave up on Bryce Young. Not fully, but they gave up on him sooner than the Giants did Daniel Jones. The same way the Indianapolis Colts, which we'll get into in a little bit. I want to kind of stick with what we're doing here. We started in the NFC East. Let's go over to the NFC North. The leaders being the Detroit Lions at 8-1, Minnesota Vikings 7-2, Green Bay Packers 6-3, Chicago Bears 4-5. Let's start from the bottom. The Chicago Bears. Did you see the rest of their schedule for this year?
No, I haven't paid attention much to the Bears this year at all.
From right now, week 11 until the end of the season, they have the toughest schedule in the league. Let me go over it with you. Ready? Hosting the Packers, hosting the Vikings, at Detroit, at San Francisco, at Minnesota, Lions again, hosting the Seahawks, at Packers.
Yeah, they're dead.
They might not win another game.
Yeah, they're dead. I mean, unless Sam Darnold and the Vikings cave between now and then.
Yeah.
Those might be their only shots. I mean,
Green
Bay has owned them for years. So
decades.
Decades. Years, yeah, decades. I guess years
those are different.
Cover that.
Those are different terms. Different terms of measurement.
Needed a bigger scope. We got it. All
right. You're acting like years and decades are the same. Anyway, I want to talk a little about Caleb. Last week, they faced off against the New England Patriots. 19-3, the final score. Caleb Williams got sacked 9 times, and they fired their offensive coordinator because in the last 2 games together, they've scored 0 touchdowns. What do you think about their decision to fire the offensive coordinator?
Fire all the offensive coordinators you want. Again, I said the Giants doing Giants things. The Bears have done the same thing seemingly over and over and over and over again, and it's like a toss-up between the Jets with their quarterback situation, with the Bears constantly losing out on the quarterback situations, and taking halfway decent talent and just destroying them by not building around them.
I like that. So, I mean, obviously Caleb needs help. We're not ready to give up on him in terms of, it's just obviously not time. He was the number 1 pick. But I think he definitely does need some help.
I like Caleb from what I've seen, the very little I've seen of him. I think he's got some talent, but Bears, do something with it. Build around him. Get him some protection. Get him some weapons.
It's a wonder if Eberflus, the head coach, is going to keep his job after the season. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Green Bay Packers sit at 6-3, and man, I saw them face Detroit. And Jordan Love made some questionable decisions. Last week, you had a really good quote about all the quarterbacks who got paid kind of not working out. Packers still at 6-3. I don't feel like they're that good, even though their record tells you so. And last year they had a really good season. I'm just not seeing the same things from the Packers this year as I did last year. Are you getting that same kind of feeling, or do you think, hey, they're still a team to watch out for there in the NFC?
The Packers are one of those decent teams that turn into a good team usually when it matters. So enough to get them into the playoffs. I guess I can compare them to the AFC Steelers.
Okay, I like that.
Just always nice. Right at the end, get in there, get your first round exit.
Steelers, man, they're doing some stuff. We'll get to them in a little bit as well. The Vikings, we've talked about enough Minnesota, I think, this year. Sam Darnold, obviously, the shining star there. They're 7-2, a good chance to win the division. But are they going to take down Detroit? Detroit Lions last week, Mike. Come on, dude. Jared Goff comes into last week's game with 4 interceptions on the year.
Yeah, and he nearly doubled that in one game.
During the course of the game, Jared Goff threw 5 interceptions.
5 interceptions. Yeah, I think I texted you and I said something along the lines, it looks like me and you playing Madden.
You did
together.
Text me that. So he did double the amount of interceptions in that one game. But the crazy part isn't the 5 interceptions. The crazy part is the fact that they won the game.
Yeah.
The Detroit Lions showing that, this is a statement I've said before, and it's a statement I believe to be true. Good teams find ways to win games. Like, good coaches, if it's the right everything, if the situation is perfect, like you have the right person here, right person there, you can get it done. And that's what Detroit did, excuse me.
Detroit, I've always had an affinity for Detroit. We have Buffalo has a connection, if you will, through our inaugural owner, Ralph Wilson. So to see them succeed is just awesome to me.
7-game win streak. Good for them. Now, Mike, I know we both haven't had the chance to watch as much football as we would like to, but this team played the Buffalo Bills last week, so we have a good sense of who they are, what they are. We both spoke about, the fact that they should be starting Joe Flacco, right? When Anthony Richardson came back from injury, Richardson played, they said, then he had that moment, right, where he took himself out of the game. He then got benched.
Yep, he was tired. Excuse me, I'll be right back. Gotta go somewhere.
And I thought it was the right decision in terms of, not because he was tired. I don't care about that as much. Just, I think Flacco gave them the best chance to win. Joe Flacco last week did not look like the Joe Flacco that I've seen play football. His first pass goes for a pick 6.
Yep.
And from there, he just was not comfortable. It didn't seem like he had all day in the pocket, but it didn't seem like the pressure was getting to him too much. And the Buffalo Bills just had their way with Joe Flacco.
The defense was pretty good. And for a while there, it was turnover city between both teams, I believe.
Three interceptions and a fumble by Joe Flacco.
Yeah, turnovers don't win the game, folks. It loses you the games.
Yeah, no, but you're right. It was turnover friendly both ways. Josh Allen had 2 picks, no passing touchdowns on the day. When's the last time you saw a game with Josh Allen having 0 passing touchdowns?
And we still managed to put up 30.
Yeah,
so,
I know. That's good. That's like the 7th time we put up 30 this season. But the conversation isn't on the Buffalo Bills right now. The conversation is on the Indianapolis Colts, who have announced that Anthony Richardson will get the start this week. So
they didn't so they're flip-flopping with the kid. They're messing with this kid's psyche at this point.
So that's exactly what I want to talk about. I think for me, at this point, you go back to the young gun, Joe Flacco, obviously almost 40 years old. He's 39 right now. You need to stick with Anthony Richardson from this point, unless Anthony Richardson has a Nathan Peterman game. You need to stick with him to show that you're confident in him, to show that you believe in him. You cannot keep this up. It's week 11, right? There's not that many games left.
Okay, he took his 1-game punishment for embarrassing the team, basically embarrassing himself. Leave the kid in there, let him rock with it, and you just got to teach him and hope that he can learn to protect himself at this point, because that's really the big problem with him is he's sporadic at times, right?
For sure. But he also needs to get better at the mechanics. And it's something that every young guy struggles with. Josh really struggled with being accurate his first couple of years. And I'm not comparing Anthony Richardson to Josh Allen in any kind of way. It's just that I think there's a lot to work on. He shows a lot, but those moments are few and far between for me. So I think
he has a lot fewer. Yeah, there's definitely no comparison between Josh Allen. He has a lot fewer flashes than him.
I think you might have missed some of his flashy moments this season. I'll have to show you some of that off camera so you can kind of see exactly what he was doing. But the other thing about the Colts, they're in the race right now for a wild card spot in the playoffs. They're not in the wild card, but they're in the race. Are you expecting to see them come season's end, or you think they're going to fall out of this?
Nah, I think their season. Who do they even have left? They've got a fairly tough schedule. Maybe mediocre schedule. They might. They might. They've got some pretty crappy teams, man. They got the Jets. They got the Lions, which they're going to get crushed by. They got the Patriots, who,
Wishy-washy.
when I sleep on them, they win. The Broncos, who've played damn good football this year. The Titans, another wishy-washy team. They could probably win that one. The Giants, I can't get out of their own way. We talked about them earlier. And then they got the Jaguars, who has also been a really surprising 2-7 team.
You want to hear a fun stat about Jacksonville? They can become the first team to ever make 3 number 1 picks in 5 years. Because right now they're due to have the number 1 pick.
So they're the Edmonton Oilers of the NFL. Fantastic.
Pretty much, yeah. Moving on here to some home stuff. We have obviously talked a little bit about the Bills here and there. Kind of want to get a focus in on them. You see the date here, Mike, for Matt Milano. And I think we're all excited that he, had his practice window open, the 21-day practice window. Not going to play against the Kansas City Chiefs this week.
Right.
But maybe next week. And if not next week, I'm sure it'll be the next week, because if it's not, then he's on season-ending IR, and then we all cry. But that date, Mike, that tells me something. I mean, yes, he played in the preseason very sparingly. But are you worried about a little bit of rust from Matt?
I'm worried about a bit of rust over a year. I mean, look Watson sat out for 2, so I don't know if that's a fair comparison. But, I mean, look at Trey White. He sat out for a whole year, and he hasn't been the same.
Tre'Davious White, it's a little bit different, right? Because White dealt with back-to-back, Achilles or leg injuries, and Milano's dealing with – he dealt with an Achilles and then, what was it, a bicep.
Yeah, bicep this time.
So now, I mean, I'm just worried about him coming back. I want him to be the same guy, and I don't know what we're going to see.
He's getting older, too. Don't forget that. I mean, hopefully there isn't a lot of rust, period.
And if there is, the Bills' defense has been playing so good this year. Do you think they might – I feel like they might just take their time with this. They might not start him until they have to, because they might be happy with, the guys they have playing.
Yeah, Sean McDermott doesn't seem to be too concerned, obviously.
We're 7-2. What's there to be concerned about, right?
7-2, but we've had a lot of close games. Even though the defense has been pulling its weight this year, for sure.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we have Josh Allen, and having Josh Allen is better than not having Josh Allen, and that's why we win football games. But Matt Milano, very beautiful, very handsome, want him back in the lineup, very excited to see him. But I think it's important to mention the fact that I haven't heard anybody talk about this, about the fact that he has not played in over a year, and let's be cautious.
I haven't either. It's pretty interesting. I didn't know that until the stat showed up on the screen, to be honest. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. I mean, a year of not playing football might as well be a decade with some people.
Like I said, he played in the preseason, sparingly, but preseason and regular
preseason isn't game speed. Yeah. It's not even close.
So, Mike, it is Chiefs week. Thank you for drawing the picture that is behind me. I do appreciate it. But
I'm glad you think I can draw that well.
This background provided by artificial intelligence, by the way. You see the records on the screen, 9-0, 7-2. We know the stories. Kansas City not beaten since last Christmas. Buffalo Bills been on a roll. I want to ask you, does this game matter to you?
I think it matters to every Bills fan, but in the words of Josh Allen, or maybe not exact words, but regular season don't mean squat. I want them in the playoffs. That's where it really matters. Beating them in the regular season is sweet, especially when we send Mahomes crying about rooting the greatest football play ever.
I forgot about that. I don't know how I forgot about the greatest football play ever, but I did.
But so I mean, I guess it's the answer is it's 50-50 for me. It matters, but it doesn't. I want to be their first L.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people tell me that, but at the end of the day, and I said this on one of the TikToks, so I apologize for repeating myself, but I have to for this. There's a world where the Buffalo Bills win this game, and the Kansas City Chiefs win the rest of their games. And you know what that does to the seeding?
It still puts us at number 2.
Bupkis, number 2, correct. And it puts the Kansas City Chiefs at number 1. And I don't want to live in that world. I don't want to live in that world where we're their only loss and we get the 2 seed. So I like where you were going, and I like that you mentioned that play because, man, that brings some hatred back for me. People ask why I hate Patrick Mahomes, and that's a moment. That's a moment when he decides in the one moment where you're supposed to show some sportsmanship and say, hey, stay healthy, he says that.
Competitor or not, you gotta have some class at the end of the
Pissed
game.
me off, Mike.
Good. Let's get you out on the field.
Yeah, give me the jersey. Let's switch. This game's important. It's important for all the reasons that we've said. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to tell you, and I talked with somebody about this week. Josh Allen, Sean McDermott, they're going to say, it's another week. We're focused the same way. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah,
they're lying. They're lying through their teeth. At the end of the day, this is a bigger game than any other game on the schedule because it's the Kansas City Chiefs, because it's Patrick Mahomes. Would we like to win? Of course. Who wouldn't like to win? But this is going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough game. Getting back to a little bit about the NFC, because that's what we focused on today's video. Not on purpose in any kind of way, but it kind of happened that way. Yeah. So we talked about the North and the East. Let's move to the NFC South, where the leaders are the Atlanta Falcons at 6-4, Tampa Bay Buccaneers at 4-6, and the Saints and Panthers both at 3-7. This division still pretty much wide open at Week 11. I think that might be what we expected in a way. But for the Panthers and Saints to be 3-7 apiece, I would have thought they'd be worse.
I honestly would have thought they would have been worse too. And then reverse, I would have thought the Bucs and the Falcons were going to have a little bit of a better record here.
Yeah.
I mean, Kirk Cousins has been lights out all season for the most part. My guy with the Bucs, my little Baker Mayfield over there, he's been pretty decent this whole season as well. For sure. And
they just had a couple of losses. They had that one to Denver that was surprising. I think they dropped another one that we didn't expect them to lose. They were kind of playing Sabres-esque, where they lose the teams they shouldn't, and they beat the teams they shouldn't.
Yeah, even Bills 15 years ago.
Let's not talk about that. At the end of the day, who do you expect to be the winners here? I'm taking the leading team. I think it's going to be the Atlanta Falcons.
I agree with you. I can't disagree there. Kirk Cousins is too good. Now they just need to finish building the team around him, and I think they'll be good for next year.
The Bucs are on a 4-game losing streak.
Wow.
Panthers on a 2-game win streak. Come on. You know who they got.
All right.
You can know who they got after this week. Kansas City.
Good luck, guys. Good luck. Good luck with
City.
that. You might as well not show up.
They probably won't. Don't worry. You don't have to worry about that. To the final division here in the NFC, Mike, and our final bit, the NFC West. Do you know who's leading the NFC West?
That is surprising. You haven't even get it out of your mouth. Oh my goodness. Man, I really got to watch more this year. That is terrible. What happened to the Rams this year, man?
Well, the Rams dealt with injuries at the top of the year to Stafford, to Nakua. Cup has been really good, but it wasn't enough to put them in games.
Last week they got them. Last week they got both of them back, and I think they got blown out.
Hey, Aaron Donald retired, leaving that defense with nothing, and I think that's the biggest difference between the Rams of this year and the Rams of last year. Obviously, the 49ers, we know they're about to start winning some football games. They're on a 2-game streak right now. McCaffrey's back. The receiver who got shot is back. they're coming at full health. And the Seattle Seahawks sticking around too at 4-5. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be the 49ers division. I don't think the Cardinals are going to hold out. But I need to bring this up because we joked about Kyler all of last year, about the Call of Duty clips. And this year, he got the sponsorship with Call of Duty. A new Call of Duty came out 3 weeks ago. And since that game's been released, Kyler Murray's 3-0. And his stats are insane, out of this world. I don't know what's going on with Kyler in terms of why he's playing so well and what has switched. But honestly, man, I'm happy for the guy. I like to see these people succeed. And at the end of the day, good for him, man. Mike, are you ever going to put up a competition for the KellyCast World Championship?
I wasn't the trash can this week, but not this year. I'm having.
You were close.
I'm having a what's his name? I'm having a Daniel Jones kind of year. It's just
no. Your Daniel Jones year was your year of success last year.
I'm having a current day Daniel Jones kind of year.
I like that. I like that. It's hard to win this year, man. People have come to play. Kev started the year in the garbage can, and since then he's done a pretty good job. Mitch is always up at the top. Your dad hovers between being the worst and the best, and then like Sam and Melissa always at the top of the leaderboard for the most part.
Melissa, yeah, for sure. She's learning her football. I'm proud of her.
She knows.
I'm proud of her.
I got 2 Kellys into football, not just one.
Yes, you did.
And that's why we call it the KellyCast. A little bit of information for you right there. But we want to thank you guys if you've gotten this far. Don't forget to leave a like, share, and subscribe. That's Mike. He's bald.
Bald, 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 my eyes!
And I'm Dan, and we'll be seeing you in the next one. Until then, take it easy.